Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching yet another episode of Lima Shenanigans of 1977. It's Thursday night, and you know what that means. It's time for the TNA Wrestling Event Center. And now here's the man that always makes an impact here on YouTube, Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Lima Shenanigans of 1977. This is episode 1357 of the show. Am I correct on this? Yes, I am. And we're going to be talking a little bit about what happened just recently. TNA Rebellion is over. I'm going to give you the countdown to Rebellion matches. The trios matchup, ABC and Leon Slater, the newcomer. ABC, that would be Ace Austin, Chris Bay, took on the team of the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, and Myron Reed, the bad seed. And ABC and Slater ended up winning the matchup. Gia Millard interviewed First Class, and then they had this Man Boy or Mad Boy Mafia, and some of the weirdest characters in that group. But anyways, First Class is a team of Rich Swann, AJ Francis. They're talking about how they're going to humiliate Joe Hendry. The digital media title was on the line as Crazy Steve defended against the Laredo Kid. And the winner of the matchup and the new digital media champion, the Laredo Kid. And Gia Miller, busy lady tonight, interviews Steph DeLander, who plans she has an ace up her sleeve to help her, even though Matt Cardona won't be there, to help her defeat Jordan Grace for the Knockouts Championship. The Knockouts Tag Team titles was on the line as Spitfire defended against DK. Spitfire had Lars Henriksen, who was a very popular musician, in their corner. He played their new theme song. Spitfire is the team of Jody Threat and Danny Luna, the former member of Subculture. Meanwhile, Decay consists of Rosemary and Havoc. Spitfire ended up retaining those Knockouts Tag Team titles, but Masa Slamovich, who has a rematch, but Killer Kelly's going to take some time off, but Alicia Edwards is seen to be joining forces with Masa Slamovich. You see, like Masha is on. Looks like Masa is on board with this. I think Masa liked the Masha Slamovich. She liked the attitude of Alicia Edwards, and with the kendo stick and a chain. That's a bad combination for those who want to oppose the two of them. Just saying. Then two of Mustafa Ali's protesters came out to protest Jake Something for appearing in the matchup. They want to get rid of the no limits thing and all that. But then they decided, we're going to hijack the show until Jake Something gets removed from the title match. And that was going to kick off Rebellion. Cody Deaner came out and said, you know what? You have no right to do that. It's not up to me, but it's up to the people. This is for the people. You guys think I should remove these two out of the ring? And so they said, yep. So he removed both of these individuals out of the ring. Then it kicked off. Rebellion kicked off the main card. It was the X Division title on the line. Mustafa Ali and Jake Something. Heck of a matchup between those two, but Mustafa Ali retained his title miraculously over the big man, Jake Something. Meanwhile, Joe Hendry and Rich Swann went one-on-one, but Joe Hendry roasts AJ Francis and Rich Swann before the matchup with using the two of them as his theme song because they believe in Joe Hendry and all that. So, but then during the matchup, Sean Merriman, the former San Diego Charger, was at ringside for TNA Rebellion. AJ Francis, a former NFL player himself in his own right, started something with Sean Merriman. So Sean Merriman started walking around the ring. And it seems like the referee was distracted the whole thing. But then, as he stepped in the ring, he almost, decided to prevent interference. But then the two hug. It seems like Merriman betrayed Joe Hendry and ended up winning the matchup between ended up winning the matchup between Joe Hendry and Rich Swann. So Swann won the matchup, but oh my goodness, guys, I think a lot of controversial things would be happening. This is one controversial thing that I never thought would happen. The lone female member of this Mad Boy or Man Boy Mafia decided to twerk, dry humping cowgirl style on a fallen Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry was out cold, and she's doing this with her butt, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? So many weird stuff, man. And I'm not kidding you. Just you watch that matchup, and at the end of that matchup, I'm like, okay. That's Vegas. What can you do? It's in Vegas. Then there was the Full Metal Mayhem between Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian. And Kazarian ended up winning that matchup. And Gia Miller interviewed Nick Nemeth, as Nick Nemeth says he's kind of motivated to beat Moose for the title. Steve Macklin addresses the Vegas crowd. He says, he's got everything met contracts of one thing, I need a match. And then Santino Marella comes out because you're going to have a match. And Mike Santana, former TNA Tag Team Champion, has returned to TNA. And they had a match. One-on-one, Mike Santana versus Steve Macklin. And Mike Santana ended up winning the match. Then Gia Miller interviewed the System once again. The System determined to keep the tag team titles as they did. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers of the System defended against Speedball Mountain, and the System ended up retaining the titles. Josh Alexander versus Hammerstone went one-on-one, but this is a last man standing matchup. And Josh Alexander ended up winning the matchup after Hammerstone could not respond to count of 10. Now, Jonathan Gresham had that little vignette and a little promo where he's in a meeting room with people all around, but some of the people left except for the leader of the meeting and him. And then as they were talking, Gresham started coughing, and then when he went to the bathroom to cough up, he looked at his hands like ink. The octopus. Is this a metamorphosis of Jonathan Gresham? Is this an alter ego of Jonathan Gresham from TNA? This ought to be an interesting situation, to say the least. Might I digress? Now, give me a second here. Then we're talking about George Iceman introduces Ash by Elegance for the next matchup, as she's going to oversee the KO's title, the Knockouts Championship match between Jordan Grace and Steph DeLander. But then I think during the matchup, as Steph DeLander felt like she had an advantage, but the referee was knocked out cold by accident. So one of the good hands decided, I'll referee the matchup. And he was about to, I tell you what, I think it was Jason Hotch, or was it John? Not John Silver. I forget the other guys. I know Jason Hotch was one of them. John Sliver? I forget. I forget it's an S. I forget the good hands are. John somebody. I know the first name is John. I forget the last name. You know what? Let me look that up. Let me look that up. Let me look that up. I got an idea. John Schuyler. That's what it was. I didn't have to look it up. I just realized. John Schuyler and Jason Hotch. That's right. Just So that's the thing. John Schuyler. So John Schuyler was the one. I'm sorry. John Schuyler tried to referee the matchup, but then the lights went out. And the lights went out, but then the lights came back on again. And it was PCO. I was like, what's this PCO have to do with this matchup? He attacked the good hands. And then and Steph DeLander tried to sweet talk and seduce PCO, but PCO wasn't having any of it. He was about to, in the process of chokeslam Delaney when the lights went out, and actually Khan appeared to stop PCO, and then Grace decided to attack Khan, but the Good Hands attacked Grace once again. But the lights went out again, and the lights came back on. Sami Callihan is back. And Sami Callihan and PCO make quick work of the Good Hands, getting and Khan out of there as well. And Jordan Grace did retain the Knockouts Championship. Then the TNA World Title was on the line. Moose and Nick Nemeth, it was a heck of a matchup until the system got involved. They got ejected from ringside during the matchup. And Moose won it clean after Nick Nemeth made a mistake and it cost him in the end. Moose won it clean. But then they said lights out, and all the vignettes. And then as the system was celebrating, the lights went out, and then the lights went back on. Broken Matt Hardy. Ah, yes. Returned to TNA, attacking Moose with the Twist of Fate and holding the title up. It's going to be pretty good. So that's a very special. This is a very special episode of the TNA Event Center, TNA Rebellion Event Center. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in to watch this video. My next episode will be AEW Rampage and Collision, the final Rampage Collision before tomorrow night's AEW Dynasty. So, that's all I got to say. Thanks for watching, and until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, do it for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with a Raven Bofa Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.